What up, everybody? So, as you can see, I'm in my car. I'm actually out and about. A lot of times when I am in my car running errands, I am listening to YouTube content. So, I just listened to at BrokeFarmer video about what seeds not to that, in his opinion, not to grow indoors and transplant. So basically, not to start your seeds indoors and then transplant them outdoors later. So I wanted to piggyback off of that video because BrokeFarmer is in Georgia. He's zone 8B, I believe, which is a warmer climate than some of us gardeners. So for me, I'm in zone 6B. I was 6A. They reclassified it as 6B. So 6A, 6B, somewhere in there, but 6 nonetheless, which is 2 zones colder than BrokeFarmer. So I don't agree with some of the things because I don't have as long of a grow season. So it does take a little bit more time for things to get going for me than it would for him. So I agree with what he said, but I agree with it for his zone, not mine. How about that? All right, so he named, I believe, 10. We're going to see when we get there, things that he did not recommend to start germination indoors to transplant outdoors. Some of them I agree with, but probably most of the list I did not. Number 1, watermelon. Y'all, if y'all been following me long enough, you know that excuse me, the first year I grew watermelon, I started my seeds indoors. I did start them too early, so I had watermelon watermelon plants basically that were 3 months old in-house before I can transplant them outdoors. And even when I transplanted them, I still was not out of danger of a late frost, because we're not supposed to plant outdoors until after Mother's Day. I believe I put them in my garden like the beginning of May, and we did get hit with a slight frost, but my plants survived it. But it still took them a little bit to bounce back and start producing fruit, which they did. I grew the largest watermelon that I saw that year, including BrokeFarmer, by 1 pound. But yes, I started those indoor. Last year, I did both. I started some indoors and I direct sowed some seeds. So for me, I just think it's better to start indoors because I don't have as long of a grow season. My soil doesn't start to really warm up until late May, early June. So I like to get my watermelon off to a start prior to that, so that hopefully by early August or so, I'll start being able to harvest fruit, depending on the variety. Some of them may be a little bit sooner. I think sugar babies, I probably could harvest possibly in July. But last year I didn't grow sugar baby because I didn't want to waste the space on the smaller variety, since I was trying to win watermelon wars. But, you know, there's always this year. Nonetheless, I didn't waste the space for them, but most of the varieties took a little bit longer than that, so they would probably harvest in like August. The other one was cantaloupe. Same thing with that. I still feel like with cantaloupe as well, start for grow zone 6 and probably lower. If you are growing melons, start them indoors. I would start mine at least 2 months before you're going to transplant them outdoors, because they're not going to get too big indoors for them to be able to be transplanted. I saw a lot of content before I grew watermelon that you should not transplant watermelon because it doesn't like its roots disturbed. You ain't got to disturb them roots. I don't grow them in bunches where you got to pull them apart from each other. Watermelon and cantaloupe seeds are really big. Drop a seed. It's probably, if it doesn't germinate, drop another seed. But it's probably going to germinate. Okay, moving on. Squash. I also feel like squash, excuse me, should be started indoors. I would not start squash outdoors for zone 6AB. I mean, you could, but you're going to wait so long for a harvest. So it really just depends on when you want to get a harvest. Now with squash, most squash plants don't take that long unless it's the winter squash varieties, but your summer squash varieties, I don't know, what, a couple months maybe before you'll start seeing fruit. So I like to get them up to a good start and then transplant them outdoors, and then I get my fruit a little bit quicker because by then my soil has warmed up. Usually it probably takes a couple days for it to get adjusted to its new home. I've never had a plant die on me. None of my watermelon, none of my squash, none of my cantaloupe. You know, I've been lucky there. None of them have died. So I think that for my zone, I would absolutely start squash indoors and transplant. Probably, and I would probably only start squash maybe a month before transplanting. So yeah, y'all gonna see a lot going on behind me. I'm sitting in Costco's parking lot. I'm about to go in Costco, y'all. All right, so the other one is cucumbers. I don't agree with that one either. But cucumbers don't really, some varieties don't take that long, but I would still give them a jump start. Same thing, about 4 weeks indoors and then transplant. For grow zone 6AB, even 5AB if you're growing them, I would do that personally. This is my personal opinion, just like that was his personal opinion. Now for grow zone 8, I definitely agree. Broke will probably be dropping seeds for his spring garden next month, like direct sowing. So nah, that ain't happening for our grow zone, period. Now this is where I agree. Beans and peas, you don't need to drop beans and peas indoors and then transplant. They don't take long. You're probably going to have beans or peas in about a month and a half to 2 months. So just direct sow those. They don't take long anyway. So I definitely agree. Even for grow zone 6AB, I wouldn't start those indoor. Carrots, nope, not starting carrots indoors. First of all, you can grow carrots when it's cool. So we can drop carrots. I have carrots growing right now and it's negative degrees. Now, if they're doing anything at this moment, I don't know. They've been out there since the fall. I need to go check. They were slow growing because it's colder here. So when it's colder, it does take it a little bit longer. I may not get as much greenage coming up out of the coming from the carrot. Maybe it's doing more growth underground. I don't know. So I might go out there today and pull up where I see carrots to see if anything's down there. But I tried. I was like, you know what? They don't mind cool weather. They don't want it this cold, but the fall cool. So I dropped seeds like at late summer into the fall to hopefully get another carrot harvest. So we'll see. But I would direct sow carrots. Like, the seeds are so freaking fine. Don't I wouldn't bother with trying to. I've seen some people do that, like drop seeds indoors and then be out there separating them to put their. I ain't doing all that. Direct sow those carrots. Don't do all that. And then the last one was beets and radish. I have dropped seeds once for beets, and I don't even remember how long they take. But I don't think they take long. Radish absolutely don't. You can get almost any variety of radish in about a month. Like, why start that indoors? Scatter those little radish seeds outdoors, direct sow those, and get your radish. Don't be, that's too much work. They don't take long. Like, I think the longest variety I've seen is like 60 days, which is I think the watermelon radish. No, most of them don't even take but a month. Just, yeah, direct sow that. So I just wanted to piggyback on that video. I did comment on Broke. I also you saw his name go across the screen when I first mentioned him, and I am tagging him below. So go check out his video, because if you're like 8A and above, that actually, I absolutely agree with what he said, because it's going to work more for your climate. And I commented that for him, like, I don't agree, because for my climate, I don't have enough time. I literally have June, July, August, because in September the weather will start to taper into a cooler temp. Watermelon likes heat, so cantaloupe likes heat, squash heat, cucumbers heat. So those are things that I absolutely start indoors. And then I'm not going to go into the things that also I start indoors that he mentions in the video that he thinks you should start indoors. So you go watch his video to see what those things are, because I do agree with those. I absolutely start all those items indoors and transplant because of how long it takes to produce fruit from those plants. So go see what he was talking about. Check his video out. Make sure you like it. If you're not subscribed to his channel and you enjoy it over there, subscribe. All right, y'all. Talk to you later. Bye.